So I'm going to continue on the topic of Satan's tricks and how we can overcome them. And as I said, since Allah clearly declared in many places, and we saw the verses, to us that Shaytan is a devout enemy to you. Therefore, you need to be conscious of his enmity. And an enemy is someone who is constantly planning against you. You can call someone adu, enemy, dushman, unless he is in a state engaged against you, planning. If he is not in that, then you can call him enemy. So Allah said adu because of udwan. Udwan means transgression. He has already reached the border. Back in the days, how do they know that a country wants to be a belligerent country, meaning a country that wants to be in a state of war with you? They see if they are, there is always the borders and there is a buffer zone. There is a border and a buffer zone. If you go closer to the border this much, that means you have bad intentions. And that's why in the Sunnah, the Prophet ﷺ said, وَحَدَّ حُدُودًا فَلَا تَعْتَدُوهَا. And he has put lines, border lines, don't come near them. تَعْتَدُوهَا means ta'addi. Ta'addi means to go above and beyond. This is very important to understand, that Allah called him a transgressor, adu. So if he is now adu, I have to be on alert. But where? If I don't know where the enemy is coming from, if I don't know what tactics he's playing, if I don't know what plans he has, how many soldiers, how many this and that, then how am I going to be ready? So we're going to talk about 7 points where Shaytan comes in. So those 7 points are 7 entries. We call them entries or entrances. Arabic madakhil. Based on, of course, our great scholar, Imam Ibn al-Qayyim, rahimahullah. So Imam al-Qayyim speaks of these 7 entries. If I know them, I'll guard them. When you are fighting boxing, you guard your ear, your head, you guard your ribs, you guard your front, you guard your groin. You know where the hit could be very painful. Same thing. Allah is saying you are in a state of war. So this is not going to be changed. So what do? I need to guard myself. If I don't guard myself, then I'm going to get hit. If I get hit, I may be destroyed. So that's why knowing those entries will help me to counterattack Shaytan. Number 1, of course, you all know it. Al-kufru billah wa bidineh. Wal-iyadu billah. Disbelief in Allah. You say, Allah doesn't exist. Or there is no God. Or I don't believe in God. Or I believe in something. You know, and then you reject now. And you say, I don't want Islam. That's it. I'm fed up with this religion. It is kufr. Behind it, definitely, when you study Luqman, you will find the work of Shaytan. What is the opposite? How can I not fall into that? I have to protect myself with tawheed, understanding the oneness of Allah, not only by word, but also by action, by understanding, by attitude, and also with al-ilmu billah. Allah said, فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ لِذَنْبِكَ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَالْمُؤْمِنَاتِ. Allah says, first thing you do, even before you say La ilaha illallah, you have to know what it means and its implication. Therefore, as Muslim parents, our duty number 1 to protect our children from Shaytan is to protect them from falling into kufr. This is more important than doing math homework or going to school or becoming a medical doctor or engineer, whatever. This is your priority. If you know you have a son or daughter, all of us, and you want your son, even if he becomes a Nobel Peace Prize winner, if he doesn't have Iman, you have lost. When I say you have lost, there's nothing to celebrate. If your son or daughter comes say, Dad, I don't believe in God anymore. By the way, we're living it. It has become, unfortunately, every year now frequent. May Allah protect us. And this is happening, some people say, well, I'm practicing. But focus on tahseen. What is tahseen? From the word hisn. What is hisn in Arabic and Urdu? Means fort. Fort. So you are قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِكُمْ نَارًا وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةُ. Allah says, protect yourselves and your families. Your responsibility is your family. From Shaytan, by what? By building a fort around them, hisn, because you value them. And you don't want, this is a war between us and him. Either we win their hearts, or he wins their hearts and they declare kufr. May Allah protect us. Allah says in the Quran, Surah Shura number 221, هل أنبئكم على من تنزل الشياطين. Shall I tell you, Allah says, upon whom it is that those evil spirits descend. Now we understand how they come in. تنزل على كل أفاك أثيم. They descend, meaning they attack upon all sinful self-deceivers. وَالشُّعَرَاءُ يَتَّبِعُهُمُ الْغَاوُونَ. And as far as in the time of Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet ﷺ was bringing the truth, and they tried to discredit the Quran. They start making poetry, whatever tools they have. So Allah says those kind of people, they actually, the poets and all these people, they too are prone to deceive themselves, and so only those who are lost in grievous error would follow them. Today we have more than poetry. We have different ways to distract you from focusing. Priority number one and problem number one is lack of focus. We're totally distracted. Even in our life, the more you know, it doesn't make you knowledgeable. If your bucket has a hole, the more I fill with water, the more the hole becomes bigger. You understand? Allah made the nature for us is that the way we learn is the same way we eat. Has to be digested slowly, slowly, slowly. And imagine someone who does not learn. All he's worried is to eat and sleep. No knowledge. Of course, Shaytan will deceive him. Because Shaytan does not like, that you get closer to Allah. And the best way to close to Allah is through sujood and knowledge. Allah says, إِنَّ عِبَادِي لَيْسَ لَكَ عَلَيْهِمْ سُلْطَانٌ إِلَّا مَنِ اتَّبَعَكَ مِنَ الْغَاوِينَ. My servants, you have no control over them. I do not give you control over my servants. عِبَادي, plural of عابد. عابد means a worshipper of Allah. Except those who follow your ways. Follow your ways. So knowing the ways of Shaitan will protect me from his tricks. He's using internet. He's using, entertainment industry. He's using false ideas, confusion. He's confusing everybody. And now we are seeing a wave. This phenomenon, by the way, is not only here. It's getting worse. In Muslim countries, Arabic countries, it's a big problem of ilhad, atheism is increasing. If you don't believe me, go, it's on YouTube. Scholars of Al-Azhar now are talking about this issue, how to confront it. It's becoming a lot of Muslims posting videos, ex-Muslims they call themselves. And they want to prove that Islam is falsehood, is not right, and deceiving. And of course, not to add some artists or singers singers or entertainers. They're not really truly artists. They are putting messages to rebel against Allah. Even devil worshippers, the way I don't want to do it with the hands, to symbolize Iblis. In the music, if they go so much decibels, and I'm not going to tell you what it is, that you can actually get in a state of jinn possession. I don't want to mention the name, a famous guy here in his concerts, he puts it at a certain level, people. And then I spoke about the waves, which actually there was a report in Lebanon, and other Arabic countries that some kids listen to some specific vibes, turns them, in a certain way. Shaytan, Allah says, وَأَجِبْ عَلِهِمْ بِخَيْلِكَ وَرِجْلِكَ وَشَارِكُمْ فِي الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَوْلَادِ وَعِدْهُمْ وَمَا يَعِدُهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ إِلَّا غُرُورًا. That he does all kinds of tricks to deceive. May Allah protect us. When people leave the religion, you have to look how, the ways that lead. Number 2, time is not on our side. Bid'ah. Now, this topic has been abused, especially some movements. Every day you move like this, it's bid'ah. You raise your hand, dua, it's bid'ah. You do something, bid'ah. I'm not talking about that kind of bid'ah. Bid'ah means you change the religion. You bring something in the religion meaning ibadah. If I say, guys, Jumu'ah after khutbah, salat 2 rak'ahs. Guys, let's have more thawab. Let's do 4. You say no. What kind of imam you are? You change what Rasulullah prayed, Jumu'ah 2 rak'ahs. We will not accept. Because you're the ummah of Muhammad, you all know that Jumu'ah is only 2 rak'ahs. You want to do the 4 rak'ahs sunnah after? You're welcome. There is a great reward in them. But I cannot change the deen. Fast in Ramadan and say, guys, this year it's going to be too hot or too cold. Let's fast every other day. Mufti Sahib said, that's it. You say no. Rasulullah, because these are من أحدث في أمرنا هذا ما ليس منه فهو رد. Nabi Sallallahu says, whoever changes in this thing which is known to you, it is rejected. The ummah rejects, not only the scholars. Not the cultural things or customs. We talk about specifically these important things. So, what is the solution? Knowing the way of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. How do you know bid'ah? If you know sunnah. How do you know the wrong if you don't know the right? Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and what the Nabi ﷺ and his companions did. I'm not going to change the deen. This is how it is. Tawaf will remain 7 rounds until the day of judgment. Arafah is on the Arafat day. Ramadan is in Ramadan. Fasting. Zakat is, if you give extra, that's sadaqah. But zakat, you give it exactly as it is. And you say this is extra, it's sadaqah. We cannot change that. Al-qadr, wal-miqdar, wal-wazn, all of these things that are specified, I cannot change. But it might sound simple. No. It's to bring new concepts. What if we add this thing in the prayer? Imam, you have a beautiful voice. Can we add a little song near from back home in the salat? Allah, this is salat. I'm allowed only to read Quran in it. But it's okay, we add. Or coming up with some new things that ما أنزل الله بها من سلطان. It is rejection. من عمل عملا ليس عليه أمرنا فهو رد. Another narration. Sayyida Aisha radiallahu anha. These are authentic hadith. However, does it totally contradicting what we have done? It's going to be rejected. The ummah knows. So this is, or believing a new thing. A new thing. Changing what Rasulullah said. Coming up with new things we believe and they are not right. Or you adopt things from other religions and you say you have to do it. These are bid'ahs. One of the bid'ahs, I know people do them, you'll be like, oh, what Imam is saying. We have to have the 40 days after a person dies. It comes from the old Egyptians and also from Hinduism. But Muslims do it with a good intention. But it is bid'ah. Sorry. But look how popular it has become. You tell people, say, no, but scholar. What scholar? It's not. Morning is 3 days. Morning is 3 days. But some people say, no, it's not a big bid'ah in aqidah, but it could lead to others. This topic of bid'ah is a very important topic because a lot of things we have changed and people follow this bid'ah. That's why من أحدث في أمرنا ما هذا and وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة. And Nabi Sallallahu used to say this in Jumu'ah. Every new thing is bid'ah and every bid'ah will lead to misguidance. وكل ضلالة في النار. Dalala will lead to Jahannam. But being creative in how we do things, this is bid'ah, but it's not bid'ah in deen, in tools. It enhances my work. It's okay. In the time of Prophet ﷺ, they did not pray Jama'ah in Taraweeh. Huh? That's why Sayyidina Abu Bakr said to Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab when he called Muslims and called Ubay ibn Ka'b, says, Ni'mal bid'ah ya Umar. This is a good innovation. Not, al-ibda' is good, but he did not innovate. He didn't bring new things. Is salat after Isha at night or Ramadan sunnah? Yes. Is qiyam sunnah? Yes. Why did they call it Taraweeh? Because people are not like Rasulullah. They pray 2 rak'ahs and sit down and rest because the recitation is long for elderly people and then they continue. That's why they call it Taraweeh. But it is Qiyamul Layl. They didn't. It's Sunnah. But the bringing Muslims and organizing it that way was Umar ibn Khattab. But it is not really bid'ah. It is good, like microphone. Like today you read Quran from the phone. There are many things you do. Life has to move. You know, we don't travel on camels anymore. We use cars. The means change. So the means, instead of having Sayyidina Ali or Thabit ibn Qais, may Allah be pleased with them, who have strong voices. Rasul gives khutbah or speech. There Sayyidina Ali repeats so the others far away, and then Thabit ibn Qais far away hears what he says and repeats. Then the Prophet ﷺ speaks. That's how was the, so people can, there was no microphones. Then they learned from the Persians and from the Romans, the Christians, that if you have a dome, qubbah, the sound is magnified. Wallahi, it's a good idea. Let's put qubbah on the masjid. There was no qubbah in the masjid of Rasul. Bid'ah, but it's a good one. It's bid'ah in tools. Then again, they saw the Christians have a minaret. Muslim Bilal did not have a minaret. He goes on the roof. Wallahi, minaret is good. The Christians use a minaret and they put the bell on it, so the higher it goes, the radius is larger. Let's do that. So now they went to Egypt, they went to Sham, they took the minaret, Sawma'a or Manara, from the Christians. It's a bid'ah, but it's not a Muslim thing. It's okay. Like the microphone, like the Sawma'a. This kind of bid'ah is good. The bid'ah we're talking is the one that changes the deen, or saying that this person, he is Allah incarnated. Wal-iyadu billah. These are bid'ah. These are leading to kufr. Or believing someone other than the Prophet ﷺ is ma'soom. That no, they don't make this. All these are bid'ahs. We have to be very careful. Number 3, Shaytan enters from where? Kaba'ir, major sins. Major sins. Wal-iyadu billah. We call them kabira, means big. Major sin, kaba'ir, plural. Okay? If a person does it, what happens? Gets used to it, becomes addiction, guna, the heart is sealed. Wal-iyadu billah. Zina, drinking, gambling, watching haram things, listening to haram things, then talking ill, foul language. All these are kabira. By the way, I know now everybody is swearing. Oh, when you talk to this youth, everybody is swearing. Okay, follow their way. Follow. In the day of judgment, when they bring you angels, or one guy died, accident, guess what was his last words? The 4 letters. It's cotton tape. 4 letters. You're supposed to say, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. he uses the 4 letters. Why? Every sentence he says, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. How could we? So, foul language is a sin. Some people say, oh, but everybody does it. Okay. وَإِن تُطِعْ أَكْثَرَ مَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ يُضِلُّكَ عَنْ سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. Follow everybody. So sins are many. And the solution is to stay away from them. Clearly. Stay away from the guna as much as you can. الذين يجتنبون كبائر الإثم إلا اللمم إن ربك واسع المغفرة. Those who do their best to stay away from major sins, إلا اللمم, they may fall in small sins. Allah واسع المغفرة. His forgiveness is very, very wide. These are the 3. The third one is al-kaba'ir. If Shaytan makes it a habit, he comes to us. Shaytan knows we want to see. You know what I'm talking about. Man or women. The more we see, the more it does something to the hormones. So he knows we're weak there. So he attacks us through our eyes, through our tongue, through our ear, through our hands. Al-jawarih. If you don't control this, Shaitan will control you. If you don't control the situation will control you. Allah gave us a beautiful story of Sayyidina Yusuf. وَلَقَدْ هَمَّتْ بِهِ وَهَمَّ بِهَا لَوْلَا أَن رَأَى بُرْهَانَ رَبِّهِ كَذَلِكَ لِنَصْرِفَ عَنْهُ السُّوءَ إِنَّهُ مِنْ عِبَادِنَا الْمُخْلَصِينَ وَقِرَاءَ الْمُخْلِصِينَ. Allah said she was about. And he was about, but then he remembered Allah. Ra'a, he saw spiritually. Burhan, proof from Allah. And then he said, قال إنه ربي أحسن مثواي. He is my Lord. He took care of me. How am I going to do this to someone who took me out of slavery and raised me like a son, to do this with his wife? Fear Allah. She was in a state, no thinking. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that lust takes away 2/3 of the brain. 2/3 of the brain. When a person is in shahwa, in lust, thinking is not happening. Then, I wish I never did it. That's how Shaitan knows, controls us. When we do those sins, when you commit zina, Shaitan controls you. When you drink alcohol, Shaitan controls you. When you are angry, Shaitan tries to control you. He knows when the opening. So these are things that open the door. Please read the book, Kitab al-Kaba'ir. It's a life-changing book. You want your life changed? Yes, I think it's translated in English and Urdu. Read it. Kitab al-Kaba'ir. The book of major sins. We need to know what are the major sins. We have to be careful. So please, if you don't know what is good and what is not, you're going to live like just... Even animals know what is wrong and what is right. But when the people don't know what is wrong and what is right, the cards are mixed, Shaitan will take control. May Allah protect us. Ameen. These major sins, they are very dangerous, and they bring a person down. The iman becomes weak. But with tawheed, so long as you're muwahid, even if you're a sinner, inshallah you can come back. Unlike the Khawarij, the secessionists, they say murtakibul kabira fi nar, mukhalladun fiha. You know what they said? Those who broke away from Sayyidina Ali and killed him and also killed many Sahaba, they were very bad people, Khawarij. And they memorized Quran, many of them, but Jahil. They memorized them. لا يتجاوزوا حناجرهم. Look what he said. Sayyidina Ali, they killed him. These Khawarij, they said if a person commits a guna, a sin, he is going to go hellfire forever. We don't say that. If you committed, you can come back to Allah. Allah forgives all the sins. إن الله لا يغفر أن يشرك به ويغفر ما دون ذلك لمن يشاء. The only sin Allah does not forgive a person is shirk. All the sins are forgiven. Yes, don't be surprised. إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. Allah forgives what humans cannot forgive. Therefore, we have to understand, my brothers and sisters, that al-kaba'ir, we stay away from them. And if we fall into them, stealing, adultery, cheating, you come back and make tawbah. But if you're immersed in it and try to say, no, nothing wrong with that, then inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. And this is, inshallah, the salute. To know the sins is the first step, and to make tawbah is the second step. Inshallah, we'll continue later. نفعني الله وإياكم بالقرآن الكريم وغلبنا وإياكم على الشيطان الرجيم عدونا وعدو الناس أجمعين.